What's up guys, welcome back to another video here on the Meat Gaming channel. Today I'm going to be answering the age-old question on which Hypixel Skyblock crop is the best to farm. Before we get started, if we can hit, I don't know, like 30 likes, I'll do whatever the top comment is because I'm an idiot. I know that's pretty ambitious, but I mean, you never know. And with that, let's get straight on with the video. In order to make the video as simple as possible, I've ranked all the farms on the list from worst to best, with there being 9 different farms included on this list. I will also organize them into categories based on their viability and practicality, and lastly, AFK farms will not be included on the list. Starting off with the worst farm in the game, we have the cactus farm. Yes, you heard me correctly, there are people out there who manually farm cactus. I don't know why, but cactus by far is the worst thing to farm as it makes no money, XP, and is insanely slow to harvest. The only thing good about this farm is that it's very simple to build, but that's about it. The melon farm is not good either. This farm was once somewhat decent back in the early days of Skyblock, with the only other farm that outclassed this farm was the pumpkin farm. Unfortunately, times change, and now this farm is it's very bad. It's okay for money, but it's really bad in every other way. There's plenty of other farms that do the melon farm better. Similarly to the melon farm, wheat farms are usually outclassed in every way by other farms. Wheat usually makes a decent amount of money, and sometimes makes more money than carrots and potatoes, but due to it being easily accessible and very unstable, it's not a very consistent way of making money. This farm is a pretty big pain to build. It takes a long time, and it requires a super compactor 5000, which is a total of around 2 million coins, due to the fact that wheat also produces seeds as well as wheat. I would not recommend building a wheat farm. The next farm I have in the category of bad farms, this might surprise some people, but I have Netherwort in here. I placed it above the previous farms because it does make a lot of money, and it does make some alchemy XP. The reason that this farm is so low on the list is that it is an absolute pain to build. When I say pain, I mean stepping on a Lego and running into the corner of the table in the middle of the night trying to get a glass of water at the same time. Netherwort requires soul sand to grow, of course, and soul sand can only be obtained 2 ways. One is you can trade it for a fermented spider eye and a sand for 648 soul sand per day. That is so little soul sand. You need like triple that just to make 1 row. You need that, like, that's not even enough to make like a 1 row. That's terrible. And building an infant netherwort farm that's about 4 layers takes tens of thousands of soul sand. So netherwort farm, for that reason, for how difficult it is to build, is pretty low on this list. Next up are the decent ones. The first farm I've spoken very highly of before. If you've watched any of my live streams, by the way, you should definitely go and do that. But it is the cocoa bean farm. This farm is incredibly easy to build, with it only taking probably around an hour and a half to build an infinite one. Like, if you really know how to build it, it's really quick. It's also insanely easy and fun to harvest, and cocoa beans are actually pretty useful. The reason that this farm is lower on the list, as maybe someone would expect, is it does not get too much better with your farming level. I always would recommend this as the best cash crop from early game player, as long as they have a replenish enchant, because it's really good if you don't have many farming bonuses. But eventually, at a high farming level, there'll be no point to farm cocoa beans, as having a high farming level does not change the amount of drops you get from cocoa bean as much as it does for other crops, and eventually it even gets passed by sugarcane at around farming level 48, and it gets passed by potatoes and carrots at around farming level 32, I believe, so that's really low. Next up we have the potato farm. This farm makes decent money, and the item it produces, again, potatoes, are extremely useful, as it's used to make hot potato books. Where this item falls short is when you compare it to carrots, which is almost identical in most ways, but the carrots sell for more, and if in theory you could farm carrots, sell the carrots, and buy out potato books and still not lose too much money. Not to mention, again, similarly to carrots, this farm takes a while to build. However, I would still recommend this farm to late game players as it is a great way to max hot potato books for your gear. Next up we have the really good farms. These are farms I highly recommend every dedicated farmer to build, and even some non-dedicated farmers. These are some farms I definitely would recommend. First up, of course, we have the carrot farm. This is number 3 on the list. I know I haven't been keeping track of numbers, but I don't think it matters too much. I will admit that this one does take similarly to the potato farm, it does take a while to build, and it also barely gives any farming XP. The reason this farm is in the top 3 is it makes so much money. It makes the most money out of any other crop, and that's one of the reasons people farm. That is the main reason people farm, actually. And it is, with the future release of catching eggs, the price will only become higher. So definitely go ahead and build yourself a carrot farm, especially if you have some of the other farms I'm going to mention later. The second best farm in the game is the pumpkin farm, in my opinion. I know a lot of people have proven that pumpkins are not as good as the crop I have in number 1, which is pretty obvious to guess. I still believe though pumpkins are the second best in the game, because if you want to farm, you have to have a high farming level if you want to make any form of substantial money. And you probably know why the pumpkin farm is this high. It produces the most farming XP by far. No other crop even comes close. The money it makes is mediocre, and the farm is quite annoying to build, but this farm is a requirement for anyone willing to take farming very seriously. Finally, the moment that probably only about half of you have been waiting for. The best crop to farm in Hypixel Skyblock, this is literally no question in my mind, is the sugarcane. Farm. This farm is good at every single thing. It is really easy to build, it's simple, and it's cheap to build because it doesn't require light for sugarcane to grow, which is a random added bonus. The farm makes a very good amount of money, it makes a lot of money, and it also gives a lot of farming XP, the second most farming XP, I believe. On top of that, you can also use the enchanted sugarcanes to brew speed 5 potions, which gives you a lot of alchemy XP, which is the best way of gaining alchemy XP. There really isn't any disadvantage of building this farm other than you're building a farm, and if you are, I highly recommend building this farm. There's no reason you should not have a sugarcane farm on your island. All things considered, I would recommend building pumpkin, sugarcane, and a carrot/potato farm for an ideal farming setup. If you're not a dedicated farmer or you actually have a life outside of Hypixel Skyblock, I know, crazy, right? Then I would recommend just building 3 layers of sugarcane as an infant sugarcane farm, and you should be just fine, because really you can survive off of just sugarcane. Hello, this is non-voiceover Meep here. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you guys did, feel free to like and subscribe. It really helps me out. We're on our way to 1,000 subscribers, and yeah, it would mean the world to me if you subscribed and joined the team. I hope you learned something from this video, or I hope it was somewhat entertaining. It did take a while to make, and I hope it was worth it, and I will see you guys all next time.